Everyone wants to play GTA 6, and while the release is still far away, coders are trying their best to recreate the game. So today we will attempt to make GTA with 3 different AI models. We will be using Gemini 3 Pro and 2 agentic models that run on Sonnet 4.5 and Gemini 3 Pro. For all of them, I'm using a simple prompt, which is just make GTA, and only doing 2 to 3 iterations to see which one understands the task better. Moreover, we'll be doing all of this on Rosebud, which is the leading platform for vibe coding video games, and allows you to easily switch between models. There are 3 things you want to have in a GTA style game: a city to roam around in, a way to catch vehicles, and a map or someone chasing you. So let's get started with our first model, Gemini 3 Pro Agentic. So as soon as I typed in the prompt, Rosebud took it away and the AI model started generating the code. It's really cool to see that it can actually generate the code on the side while telling you where it's making changes. And then within a few minutes, I had a prototype of the game. It's pretty cool that I had a blob that was walking around and the shadow dynamics were working. So if I walked into a shadow, you can see my blob turning more dark. And then it will automatically suggest the next step, which is add traffic, AI, and pedestrian NPCs to the city. So then I just click proceed with next step and continue testing my game around in the traffic. Once that was ready, I tried seeing what was created, and it seemed like the NPCs were working really well. So this person, or somewhat of a person, was walking around. Clearly these assets can be replaced with another thing, and then I wanted the ability to be able to enter cars and get out of them. I also wanted some sort of collision detection for the buildings and to not be able to walk through them, but then the model got me stuck in the building instead. So instead of just continuing to test this and iterate on the game, I hopped over to Gemini 3 and tried to recreate GTA again. So again, I waited a couple of minutes for the code to be generated, and I immediately had a prototype of the game. This was pretty cool because it was in night mode and you can see that it was dark, and Gemini 3 got a couple of components right from the first. So there was a map in the top left corner and there was a mission on the top right. However, it was also one of the situations where everything was immediately frozen, and I decided it was better to just kind of abandon this project instead of trying to fix it. So after a couple of seconds of clicking around and trying to fix this, I just left and went immediately to Agent Sonnet. And unfortunately, my screen didn't record this, but I will walk you through the steps and the exact prompts that I started off with and the prototype that I got. Overall, I was the most impressed with Sonnet Agent, and I immediately got a working prototype, and my second prompt was to just expand the city and make it bigger, which it did, and then I added a couple of more gamified elements that I wasn't able to add in Gemini so quickly. So the next thing I added was a mini map to actually navigate the city and see where the pedestrians are, where the cars are, and that worked really well. So here's a little gameplay of what my game looked like, and a very failed attempt at trying to get into a car and starting to drive it. Instead, I walked around for a good 2 minutes before I decided to give up and iterate the game to make it easier for beginner players like myself. So the concept that I came up with was to add in a parking lot next to where you first start the game so that you can easily access a car that is not moving and you can start driving around the city. It's very easy to prompt this. Again, I just used natural language to describe what I wanted, which is a parking lot. And within a few minutes, I had my parking lot working and I was able to drive around. You'll see that in a second, but I will tell you what I made next afterwards as well. Once I was able to drive around, I really wanted to add in more exciting gameplay, and I was feeling this game so much because it was just so much better built and it looked much prettier, had a sunset going on compared to the Gemini game. And because I wanted a seamless player experience upon first try, I decided to prioritize the parking lot and have that very easy barrier to entry for the first players, and then try to add in more gamified elements like a police car chasing you that you can see up here as an example prompt. Anyway, so once the parking lot was implemented, it was much easier for me to start driving around, and you can see that my speed increased and everything was just going so well in this game. I was truly fascinated with how well Sonnet was iterating on the gameplay and how it didn't really come up with weird bugs or issues that Gemini did as well. And you can also see that the assets that were generated here were much more realistic than Gemini, and of course that is an issue that can be troubleshooted and iterated on with the assets, but we're only trying to try a few prompts here and see which one works better to start with. So as soon as I saw that the driving was working really well, I decided it was enough to move on and try to add in another wow effect to the game and add in the police cars chasing me. So let's see how that went. And so I used the example prompt that popped up before I requested the parking lot. Once I had the parking lot going, I asked for a police car that was chasing me once I was going over the speed limit. And although this was implemented fairly quickly and it seemed to be working because I suddenly got a speed tracker and everything, the police car just wasn't there. You'll see me driving around and the police being somewhere on the horizon, but didn't really have that effect of it chasing me. Now this is something that I would have debugged if I were to invest more time in this game, but as I promised I would only do 2 or 3 iterations on each game, and I thought this was enough for today. Let me know if you'd want to see me create a much higher quality GTA game. I will likely use Sonnet and show you what it's truly capable of, and let me know what other games you'd like to see and what other models I should test next. I hope you enjoyed this episode and follow along for more tutorials and game design videos.